This is Business Rockstars. I'm Mark Lack. Joining us today is a special guest, the founder of the Relevancy Engine, Scott Oldford. Pleasure to have you on the show, brother.
Nice.
This has been long overdue, by the way.
Big time.
We've been waiting to make this happen, and we just talked about how far we both drove, because this is a special interview. Tell us a little bit about Relevancy Engine. You've got a lot of fun things I want to break down, but give us some insight. What's your business?
So we help entrepreneurs really become relevant, omnipresent, and intimate, connected with those that they're actually doing business with. So we really believe that if you're at the right time in the right place and you're marketing to the right people, and then you're top of mind, so you're omnipresent, and then you create connection, well, that is marketing when you really boil it down to it. So forget all the scarcity, forget everything else. We believe in illumination instead of manipulation inside of marketing and sales.
So real quick, for people out there, I'm a business owner.
Sure.
I'm your ideal client. I come to you. What are maybe some of the problems I have? And then what is the outcome that you're providing for me?
Sure. So one of the biggest problems with online marketing is we're sick of another webinar. We're sick of another scarcity offer. We're sick of a lot of the, hey, you know what? I know the difference. This is not real.
Cart closes at midnight.
Yeah, I mean, the cart closes every Friday, right? And so what this allows us to do is really authentically be able to have the most relevant, what people really are missing all the time. They're missing relevant positioning, right, in the marketplace. They're missing relevant messaging, so they have no idea who they're actually doing business with anyways.
And we serve everybody.
Yeah, we serve everybody. Anyone that has money, let's just serve them. And they really are missing a relevant offer where it's like, oh my God, that just makes so much sense. And then the second part is omnipresence, which is, okay, well, you know what? You can create a moment. You can reverse engineer a moment where the person's like, oh, this is for me. This was meant to be. We can reverse engineer that moment with online marketing. And then further than having intimacy, what I call, which is connection, conversation, and authenticity, vulnerability. And when we add those three pieces together, people feel magnetized towards you. They want to do business with you. It's no longer sales, it's an opportunity. And so that's what we help our clients and our customers do.
And I actually know a few people that you've worked with, which is why I was so excited to meet you and really dive in on how you help businesses. Because I know people that I've seen you take from 20 to 50 grand a month to 6 figures a month and having a multi-million-dollar business, which is cool. More importantly, what I see you bring to the table is you have that run without them. Based on systems. So we'll talk more about that. But before you became this successful guy that I'll call a guru in the marketing space that people look at as an expert and a thought leader, showing them how to build the business and the lifestyle they want. Before you were that guy, how did you get started in entrepreneurship? Because I want to hear the journey and the story. Were you selling lemonade? What were you doing?
Well, actually, I was selling eggs, which actually has a better profit margin than
hard boiled or soft boiled.
Well, actually, brown, not white.
Okay.
And organic.
Don't panic.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And so I was 7. My father brought home 12 hens, and I was like, hey, and we're on an acreage in the middle of nowhere in Newfoundland, which is the east side of Canada. And I was like, hey, why don't we get more hens? And so what that ended up into having hundreds of hens by the time I was 9, generating, actual profit and actual profit for 9 years old. And then that segued into, I loved Palm Pilots. It's just so much. I was like, think about it. I was a kid that had no friends, that was geeky, super chubby. And I was just home, loved Palm Pilots, loved technology. I ended up creating one of the largest Palm Pilot websites in the world, which is, still going back to that. It's bizarre. And then I kept on doing this online. I kept on creating communities. I started a programming company. I started all these different types of things. By the time I'm 16, I have a very successful, even honestly, to now, what you would consider successful now. And I had no idea what I was even doing. I had no idea that I was actually making a lot of money.
So let's talk from each one of those businesses, kind of break down some of the different lessons. I know from year 1 to year 3 to year 5 to year 10, you learn different things. What were some of those things that you learned from your first business?
I think one of the biggest things was sometimes ignorance is your best. When you're starting out in a business, reality distortion field, as Steve Jobs really kind of made famous, is your biggest and best advantage. It's a double-edged sword.
Give me an example. What does that mean in English? Give me a breakdown.
The fact that you don't know what you're doing actually is an advantage, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can't have the stress from not knowing that you don't know what you're doing. And so, when I was 13 years old or 12 years old, I started working on what ended up being the largest golf community in the world. I'm talking 30 million unique visitors per month. A very, very successful business. I started at zero. I had no idea what I was doing whatsoever. They started it at zero, and we turned it into this massive thing. And if I went in there psyching myself up, thinking that this was a big deal or whatever, it would have never happened. But I thought that this was just another thing that was on the internet, just another deal, and it ended up profiting me a lot of money. And it was
that your first big thing?
That was the first kind of big kind of thing. And then from there, we got into, affiliate poker offers, and we got into all kinds of different things on the internet that, I had no idea it was just fun. It was just fun. And then one day, my mother was like, we got to figure out what the heck's going on, because you're doing something that most people don't do. And of course,
now when it starts to make money, that's when people pay attention.
Right, exactly.
So, at first you're just like, it's cute. Yeah. Then you make money and they're like,
yeah, exactly.
What's going on here?
Exactly. People start to, paying attention, right? And so
you go from being crazy to being lucky.
It's the blurred line between genius and crazy. Yeah. And so then we went to this program that helped youth entrepreneurs in our province at the time. Of course, they didn't believe me at first. They're like, no, like this doesn't happen.
That you were getting those types of results.
Yeah, exactly. And so then, of course, it blew up. And when I say it blew up, I was on national media. I had, all
this
these
is for the golf business?
No. This is for so what ended up with the golf business, I ended up actually programming. So programming code. I ended up having programmers all over the world, like an entire team. Yeah. And no idea what the heck I was doing. And all these people are pretty young too. So this is their first time job all over the world. And so then, they basically were like, oh my God, this is this child prodigy entrepreneur, which was the tipping point of me going into failure. That was a point in which...
When people fed the ego too much?
Correct. Okay. Exactly. And so over the next 3 or 4 years, I think I'm now invincible. So by the time I'm 19, I've made a lot of money. I've invested that money into a lot of different things, and I was starting to over leverage myself. And I believed, which is the biggest problem with first-time entrepreneurs that hit it. This is why whenever I see someone that hit it right from the get-go, I literally have a 5-page document that I send to them unsolicited, being like, hey, I've been where you are.
Be careful.
And here's what I want you to know.
Okay.
And if you want help, let me know.
So I almost want to put a pause on that. You're almost saying that to be successful out the gate, actually long-term is not in your best benefit. Failing in the beginning
it's way better
to prepare you for what's actually going to consistently come.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 26 now.
Most people are all trying to get home runs on their first bat.
It doesn't. I mean, it happens sometimes.
All the high school and college and 20-something-year-olds wanting to quit their job and start a business, they all want to hit a home run, and they all want to be the next Gary Vee or the next Snapchat guy.
Yeah, well, I think it's Eric Thomas that said that it's much easier, it's much worse to have something and then have it gone. It's much worse to be successful and then lose it all. Yeah. And it does suck. I was between the time I was 19 to 21, I went from having very successful businesses to going almost $750,000 in debt. And then going into a series of depression and, alcohol and all of these different types of things, right? For a number of years. And it was that moment of, wow, I peaked at 21. What a story that is, right? To myself. I mean, I went from being able to not care about what something costs to living in a 450 square foot apartment that costs $275 a month.
And this is, in essence, the roller coaster of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad it happened then.
Yeah, I think, though, because you had the high and the low, now you've had both paradigms to be able to find balance.
Exactly.
And I think it's tough if you only have one and the other. It's having the ups and the downs.
Well, it's worse if you just have 3 successes in a row. Like I see some people just have success. And it's like, the worst part with that is that you get so leveraged with that success that then you can even go, because if I, let's say I was 40 and I went into that $1 million of debt, it's a lot more difficult than perhaps when I was 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't have much to lose. But it's better to actually fail forward a little bit at a time.
So let's recap then, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are watching this that are in the early stages.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people aren't looking at entrepreneurship as the long game.
Yeah.
They're so focused on all the little short stuff.
Yep.
So what's your advice for entrepreneurs in the beginning stages to better prepare for the future?
If you're using entrepreneurship as the get rich quick scheme, it's not going to work.
You've already lost.
No, you've already lost. Because entrepreneurship is a 20, 30, 40, I'm playing my game right now to the day I die.
Yeah.
Or invent the ability not to die, right?
Yeah.
So from that side, it's the 50-year game, not the little tiny game. And as entrepreneurs, we always have to work the short and long game, right? We have to make the short-term decisions because we need to have cash flow. We need to have these different types of things. But we have to look at the fact that this is why relationships and building an audience is so much more valuable than just getting the money today. Because money, of course, is just an agreement. We agree that a piece of paper is worth something. But in reality, the relationship, the audience, the ability to actually impact someone's life for further transformation, that is what business really is about.
But how do we do that in a way that gives us confidence to know we're headed in the right direction?
I think you kind of look at the breadcrumb trails of that, is the people that I'm showing this to, are they saying no? Because I see a lot of the people, and of course the entrepreneur quote's always, no one else will believe in you. And when sometimes at the end of the day, you just have to say, you know what, that idea sucks, or that business sucks. It happened to me multiple times. I put $1.2 million into a business. That was a terrible idea at the wrong time and the wrong place. And I lost that money, right? Mm-hmm. And I just had to say, oh, the breadcrumb trail said I was wrong, my data was wrong, my belief was wrong. And sometimes you always need to kind of look at what's your unfair advantage, what does the market need, and your business does not have to be your passion. Your business has to be to serve those people, and you can do your passion later once you actually have money.
Somebody sitting in the exact same chair as you, who was a billionaire, on the show, said, you don't follow your passion, you follow the trends that can easily make cash flow. And then once you make the cash, then you can go and play in your hobby and not stress about having to monetize your passion.
Exactly.
So make money with trends. I think a lot of people make that mistake, though, is because they start a business and they think that if they quit on their first business, then it's over. And everyone was right. You started this business and you quit, so everyone was right, and it falls into that. Instead of, I can start a new business.
Ego. It's your ego. You know, when I blew my business up, a number of years ago, I blew one of my business up that was actually doing fairly well. And it was your ego and pride of saying, well, you know what, did I fail? It's like, well, first off, you decide if you fail or not, right? You decide, hey, I failed or I didn't fail. In my opinion, it is, I learned all these lessons that now allow me to go forward and actually do the next thing. But the other side of it, if you're utilizing your business as your passion, it's not going to be your passion for much longer, because business is built on repetition. If you want a profitable business, it's doing the same thing over and over and over again, which is boring for the entrepreneur, and it's difficult. And if you have your passion, it's just not use your business to serve your people and serve yourself, elevate and transform society, and then be able to create the audience relationship and money to go and do whatever the heck you want to do.
Something you said that was just like really crucial, and I want to make sure we didn't just fly over it, is successful people leave clues and they reframe what failure means to them. And you were saying, fail, get it out of the way, learn from it, keep moving forward. Easier said than done for some people. In hindsight, it's easy to say those things, but for the person who's like, dude, I still don't want to fail, I'm still afraid of rejection, what is a little mind hack for those people?
I think the mind hack is, number one, where we don't get off the planet alive. Okay, you don't get out of this alive. Okay, so that's the first thing. I think the second thing is fail forward, but don't make it so that they're big failures. I mean, I fail forward every single day. Something I'm doing always is failing. I'm always failing. I look at it, I'm testing what's working, what's not working. And then when I find that piece, I'm like, all right, well, let's go in on that and let's keep on testing and let's keep on failing forward. And then we can get to that point of saying, all right, you know what, this is successful. Because no one sees the failures that it takes to have, a multi-million-dollar company. They just see the multi-million-dollar company and they think that everything, pushed together worked. That is not the case by any stretch of imagination. And if you cannot fail forward, you won't learn those lessons. And you either hire a mentor to help you with those lessons, or you fail forward, or you do both at the same time.
Speaking from a place of passion, I can tell this is something that you know because you've gone through it. Something that I want to talk about as we begin to wrap up is somebody's trying to optimize their marketing. They have a business, their marketing is not performing at what it could do. You're going to come in, you're going to give them some quick context for how to optimize any marketing campaign. Go.
So first thing is, you cannot treat all of your leads the same, right? There's 3 different types of leads: people that understand the pain problem, people that are looking for the process to solve that problem, and then people are looking for the solution. So if you're treating all the leads the same, putting them in the same webinar or the same whatever it may be, the same phone call, you're going to lose most of them. And number 2, if you're not spending money in brand awareness, right? You want to create a small pond where you're the big fish. Then that allows you to be the celebrity inside of your niche. And this allows you to advertise to them over and over and over again, creating an omnipresence effect, which activates that moment of, oh, this was meant to be.
Something that I love about you is that you're speaking from a place of experience. And I feel like we could just film a whole course in here over the course of the weekend, so I wish we had more time. Where can people learn about you, though? If they're like, I'm inspired by this guy, I want to learn more, maybe they even want to get a little bit of marketing help, where can they go?
So if you want to learn the ROI method, relevancy, omnipresence, intimacy, it's scottoldford.com, and I will either retarget you from there or get you on our email list and be able to help you from there.
I love it. And by the way, he's got incredible content he gives away for free on all social platforms. So definitely go and follow this guy. Thanks for going on the show, brother.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate you. I'm Mark Lack. This is Business Rockstars. You want more content from us? Go over to our Facebook page or businessrockstars.com.